I welcome all my dear students in this yet another very important part of elective personality and teamwork. In this module, we will be learning about the different personalities and their homeopathic correlation. Till now, we have studied what is a personality, what is the structure of a personality, what are the factors affecting personality, how a personality is groomed, how a personality is affected. But what are the different types of personality? We haven't studied about them. And in this part, you will be understanding how are the different types of personality related or differentiated, what are their attributes, what are the attributes of a personality, and most importantly, the correlation of personalities with homeopathy. In the last, you will be understanding, is there any research relation with personality? We are studying so in-depth analysis about personality. But is the today's research related with personality? Are diseases related with personality? We will be studying about all these things in this part of elective. So let's start this journey of personality, different types of personality and their homeopathic correlation. Students are always fascinated. They want to engage in knowing the personality. The concept of personality excites them. They want to know how do other people think, how do other people react in a situation. This fascination for personality wants them to opt for the selective personality and teamwork skills. So now I would like to tell them again a recap of the definition of personality as per Aspendorf. He said that personalities are the collection of traits, or they determine the nature how a person will react to a particular situation. And all these reactions of a person to a situation are based on his experiences. So basically, the personality develops on the basis of the experiences a person is having over a period of time. Now coming to the very important part of personality, how the personality actually works. The working methodology of a personality has simple three plain attributes. There are three important attributes of personality. My dear students, you should understand that. The first is personality is organized. Means if you have a particular type of personality, then you will exhibit the sign, symptoms, behavior according to that type of personality only. So it is organized and it is constant. Means it is not easily changeable. The personality, the behavior you are experiencing through your past, it will be exhibited in the very same way. It is not like that today you are having one personality, in the evening you are having another personality, and in the morning at the time of breakfast you are having third type of personality. Normally, it does not happen like that. In a normal, healthy person, the personality is organized and it is consistent or constant. The second important attribute of personality is the stability related with personality. As I told you, if a person has a nature of very sweet, affectionate, then whenever he will meet with persons, that sweetness, that affection, that gesture of love will be shared to all those persons who he is meeting or she is meeting. Whether it is a child or it is an adult or they are his parents or they are his relatives, they all will be showered by the warmth of affection for a sweet personality. Simultaneously, if a person has an angry behavior, having a low threshold value, a very low tolerance level, then small things will excite him. He will lose his cool, he will lose his temper on very little, unimportant, insignificant things. People around him will always be worried he may not get angry on trifles. And in homeopathy, all these things are very important. So personality is consistent, organized, and most importantly, stable. However, a very important thing at this point you have to remember that some conditions, in some circumstances, personality could be influenced by environment. Now that environment word is very important from the point of homeopathy. It is the homeopathy which considers the genetic environment to be very important. And simultaneously, the external environment, maybe a person may be affectionate, a person may be very loving, a person may be very caring, But if he has a very harsh upbringing, if he is constantly tormented by negative emotions, he is subjected to harassment, then after a prolonged suffering, there are fair chances that his personality or her personality may change. So, although personality is stable, but due to hormonal or due to genetic or due to environmental influences, personality can change. And it is because of the personality, as I told you, the behaviors are happening around you. Now we come to the four different parts of personality which we are waiting for. Usually, a person is a combination of all the four different types of personality. However, some part may be dominant in one, another part may be dominant in some other person. But every individual is an amalgamation, is a composite, is a mixture, is a combination of all the four different types of personality you are seeing on your screens. A person could be a director, a person could be a socializer, a person could be a thinker, a person could be a supporter. Usually personalities remain the same and constant, as I told you. A socializer will always be a socializer. But if there is a strong influence on his personality of environment, then he or she may change into any other personality. But that requires a very strong emotional or psychiatric influence. Usually, a person with a typical personality exhibits a mixture, a composition of all the four features: the director, the socializer, the thinker, the supporter. Now, we will be understanding and differentiating simultaneously all these personalities. As you see, the type A personalities have high energy level, just like type B personalities. But in type A, the energy is of an aggressive type, whereas in type B, they are fun loving, jolly natured, and they are excited. They remain excitable. They are excited towards new situations, but the energy dimension are totally different in expression. Here in type A, where it is aggressive, it is excitable with jolly natured in type B. Type B is convincing and friendly natured, whereas type A is ready to take control, charge, be a boss of the situation. Whereas type B, they are convincing and friendly when they interact. The friendly interaction is such that people love to sit with them. People are mesmerized by their behavior. People enjoy their company. And such a type of company, such a type of persons have this magnetic nature, where they attract people on the basis of their communication, the way they express, the way they empathize, not sympathize, the way they empathize. That means they don't think from their point of view, but they also try to understand the point of view the people who are around them. Whereas in type A, they are hasty, intolerant, and it is very difficult for them to be empathetic. They are commercial oriented. As they are bossy in nature, we easily understand they are intolerant and commercially oriented. The type B are confident persons. They have an idealistic nature. They want to talk about all the good things, ideal things. Type A are hardcore, work oriented. Even they are hardcore oriented, but type B has a vision. They love to forecast the things. They love to improvise. They love to develop a vision for the future. But type B are easily distracted. Whereas type A, because of their hardcore and work oriented nature, they are motivated for success and they assume success easily on the basis of their nature. Type personality B will also achieve success, but in the later part because of their distraction. The important part of type B is they are high spirited and spontaneous. Type A are dominant and stubborn. They can't be controlled. Once they have said, once they have asked, once they have formed an idea, you can't change their idea. They are fixed in their position. Whereas type B, they want to improvise. So they are positive thought oriented. That is why they are spontaneous. But however, a very important lacuna of type B is they are postponers. They want to achieve something today, but because they easily get distracted, they may relate that work to be done tomorrow, day after tomorrow, or they may say, we will not do it today, we will do it later on. Whereas type A, because of dominant stubborn, they are ardent. They want to do it now, today, or finish it right away. They are bohemian in nature, bold. They can take bold steps to achieve the work done. They don't shy off in taking a step which is courageous, which is out of the box. Their bohemian nature compels them to work, to think, to achieve a task in such a way like nobody else can do, or they are afraid to doing. Now we compare the type C personality with type D personalities. As you can say, the type C are precision, precise, loving and detail oriented. They want everything to be understood before they want to work on anything. They work on the structural framework in every minute detail, whereas type D, they are low key, but they are observing. They may be shy, they may not come up with their words, their mouth may not be very full of words, but they are observing in their nature. Type D are caring, they are very sincere, but type C, they are feature oriented and creative. Type C people are trustworthy, you can very well trust them. And simultaneously, the same feeling is shared by type D. Because of their sincerity, they are also trustworthy, consistent and dependable. Dependable part of type D personality makes them very same to type C, trustworthy. But with the trustworthy along comes a little bit of negative shade of type C, their cynical nature, their obsession, their madness, their nature to attract, to be attracted to a particular way of thinking only. Whereas type D people are calm, consistent and equitable. They understand there could be other ways. Type C are rebellious, and because of their cynical and suspicious nature, they may be unsociable, because suspicion roots some very negative feelings. In the roots of suspicion crop up the worst human nature. So type D persons, they are approachable, fair, equitable, so they are not so negative or malicious like type C. Because of their negative feelings, because of their negative shades in personality, and most important is suspicion, when they can't trust. So they can't be trustworthy of their own success. They doubt, they have that fear of failure in them, and they are not sure of their success. Type D, because of their observant, sincere attitude, dependable nature, calm thinking, they looks approachable. They are approachable and they can achieve key success in their work atmosphere. A very important part of type D is they don't love quarreling. They avoid any type of mishappening. They avoid any type of unwanted confrontation. They are low key, they are consistent and they are very much observable. So with the power of observation, they can forecast. With the power of their observation, they can forecast or they can judge some mishappening could be done, could be achieved, could be possible. So what do? They avoid that mishappening, they avoid confrontation. However, these people of type C, because of their obstinate cynical nature, they may involve in confrontation. And after such a negative feeling, they are detached. Type C people feel detached because of no longer positive feelings around them. They feel detached and disengaged and are questionable. Because of such a negative attitude, it is bound that their actions will be questionable and criticized. However, type D people also have some shades. They resist the change. And despite of resisting the change, they have a self-confidence nature. Because of their observant, sincere attitude, they are a confident people. So you should easily understand and particularly read all these things about the different types of personality, as they are very important and people are behaving according to them around you. Now, after studying the 4 different types of personality, again we should understand the 5-factor personality model. It has been recapped again, but in a very different way. This 5-factor model will explain you about the excessive hyper part of a feature, the low energy part of one of the 5 features. Now, what do I mean by one of the 5 features? They have been highlighted. First is conscientiousness. Conscientiousness. Second is agreeable. Third is extraversion or extrovert. Fourth is neuroticism. Fourth is neuroticism. And fifth is honesty or accountability. Now, every word has been given with a synonym, so you can understand the term easily, because sometimes these bombastic words are very difficult for students to understand. So, every bombastic word or every difficult word has been given with a synonym. But we will be understanding the hyper energy part and the lower energy part of all these 5 factors. Because, my dear students, the personality is governed by the higher and lower part of all these 5 traits. Now, let's move ahead with the first part, as I have discussed with you, the conscientious part. What are conscientious people? This question should come to your mind. Who is a conscientious personality? So basically, again I am reflecting, again I am telling you, conscientious personality is a meticulous personality, is a systematic personality, is a personality which loves precision. Conscientious personality is a personality which is diligent, honest towards his work. They are those human beings who have an aptitude to regulate impulsive control so that target achieving behavior could be accomplished. That means they are result oriented. For them, long hours don't mean anything. For these conscientious people, positive results count, efforts don't. Their highs and low, they have their own features. The high part of conscientious people is competence. Natural, it is very natural when you want a result, you have to be perfectly competent. You have to be far ahead than your competitors. By being chaotic, by being disorganized, you can't achieve anything. When your work is not proper, when your notes are not proper, when you are not organized, then success will not be accomplished by you. So being organized in your work, having everything in order, how you will start your work, how your work will proceed, what are the obstacles you will find in your work. This blueprint of your work, pre and post analysis, should always be there. And when it is there in you, you are a conscientious personality with a high aptitude. Dutifulness is very important thing. If you are not honest to your work, if you are not committed to your duty in today's circumstances is your first BHMS. Gathering the information about the entire subjects, anatomy, physiology, which are associated with Mathematical organon and other repertory which has been introduced, yoga which is there. So you are bound to study and understand all those subjects in a rational, logical manner, the way have been designed. And if you are not studying them, you are not performing your duty. And today, if you are not performing your duty, your base for second year will be very weak. So a conscientious student will be competent with his class fellows, will be more organized in his work, will be taking his classes as a duty which he has to accomplish. When he will be performing in such a manner of competence, organized behavior, dutiful nature, then his achievement will always having a striking effort. He will achieve his goals. He will be achieving grades which are very good in nature. Success will always make you disciplined. If you take your success normally, if you take your success harmoniously, if you take your success normally, harmoniously, then it will always make you self-disciplined and your actions will be deliberated again and again so that you can reproduce your success. It is only through deliberation that we can reproduce our success, and reproducing success is very important. If you are low on conscientiousness, if you are low on your duty bounded nature, if you are low on being a meticulous person, if you don't love precision, then you are purely incompetent, good for nothing. You will work in such a manner that chaos will be everywhere around. Your organizational framework will be very poor. Where you have started, where you will end, you yourself will don't know. And everybody will organize your disorganized nature. This disorganized nature will make you careless. Further, it is a vicious cycle. When you know you are not up to the mark, when you know you are not ready to deliver, in that situation, what will happen to you? You will start postponing the things. Procrastination. Procrastinate. It means that you will start टालम टोल करना, you will start टालना. आप today, the work of today will be postponed for tomorrow. The work for tomorrow will be postponed for next week, and as a result, the work will pile up and you will be under the burden of an entire work. This entire work will crack your personality, and with a cracked up, incompetent, disorganized personality, it is bound you will become indisciplined. And with no knowledge, utter confusion, in such a state, your decisions will not be calm. Your decisions will be impulsive. So, this is the conscientious personality. Now we understand what is agreeableness. Through the agreeableness, we learn how we can continue in our relationships. High, those people are high on agreeableness, are trustworthy, forgiving in nature. They don't keep anything up to their heart. They are very straightforward. They have an altruism. Altruism means they enjoy helping others. They don't take everything on their pride. They are non-ego persons. Hence, they love to help people around them. For them, being compliant, being obliged, being answering, helping is a very normal thing. So, they are always compliance. Whenever you talk to them, whenever you ask them for a favor, they are readily there to help you out. And such a feature is modesty. Modesty is a very costly personality. You are helping the person, but you are not taking the credit. It is because of your efforts, others are achieving success and you are not taking the credit. That is what you mean by modesty. And such persons are bound to be empathetic and sympathetic simultaneously. Because if they don't understand the pain of the other person, because if they don't understand under what circumstances, dire circumstances other people are, how can they help? So, this empathetic and sympathetic nature makes them high on agreeableness. However, some people, when they are low on their agreeableness, they become skeptical. Means they are not sure what they are going to deliver will be a good or not, will be having a positive outcome or not. They will be demanding, since they cannot be compliance, since they are not able to help the other person in a complete way. So, they become themselves demanding, and because of their self and because of their lack of confidence, they can't accept internal failure. So, they develop the feature of offense is the best defense, and they develop this nature of insult and belittling others. They humiliate others. They become stubborn, rigid in their nature. Whatever good they have a tendency to boast. They show off their features. And simultaneously, such persons are unsympathetic. They cannot develop empathy and they don't care about individuals. Third and a very important part is extraversion. This extraversion means they are socially interactive. Whenever they are high, they are really sociable, and when they are low, they are isolated. They avoid company. They prefer isolation. They want to live in their own castle. But when they are high, they are extremely sociable. Being sociable energizes them. They are a high energy, magnetic people. They deliver, they talk, and they talk very much. And whatever they want to convey their thoughts, they are successful in conveying their thoughts to others. Whereas those who have low on agreeableness, they get fatigued easily. These are non-energetic people. People with high agreeableness are excitement seeking, whereas people with low agreeableness are reflective. They are basically laid down people. They enjoy being the center of attention. Naturally, with their extraversion, charismatic and magnetic personality, they are the limelight. They share the limelight, or I would like to say, they steal the limelight. The extraversion of personality always makes them happening around. Whereas when they are low on extraversion, when they can't communicate, when they shy off, they dislike naturally, the dislike in being the center of attraction. And their disliking, isolation makes them a reserved personality. So whenever we see a reserved personality, whenever see a boy or a girl who is very reserved, now because of our learning of personality module, we can say they prefer solitude, they are fatigued, they are reflective, they may have something which has made them reserved. We should always know what made them reserved, or they were reserved by their original nature. And when you are high on agreeableness, you cannot be reserved. You are outgoing in nature. A very important part of 5-factor personality module is openness. That means directness. Openness also means directness. Directness also means sincerity in attitude. Another synonym for openness, directness, or sincerity is candidness. So these all four words, candidness, openness, sincerity, and directness, they have the same meaning. They are self-willing people. They are ready to engage in activities of daily routine which are rational and logical. So logic-oriented persons, when they are high, they want to know how. On this openness, I remember an episode of Organon, Dr. Henneman. Why? He was curious to know dengue, why Syncona cures that ague fever. And out of his curiosity only, he took Syncona in defined doses and he developed all those symptoms, and that's how the similibus principle was rediscovered. The law of similia, similibus curanter. The law of similia was rediscovered based on the curiosity of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. His imagination turned down que Syncona cures because it is bitter. He was sincere. If he was not sincere, he was not very imaginative, he would have said yes, Syncona cures because it is bitter. If he was not so curious, easily predictable, he said yes, because it is written in this book, so I should accept it. So the feature of successful people is being high on openness. Today you are a student. This is a very important faculty which you should develop in your personality. In anatomy, in physiology, you should understand the mechanism. You should understand the relationships in anatomy. You should understand the fundamental concepts of organ. You should develop this feature of creativeness, which is high in openness, and you should be always open to learning new things in new ways, as we have studied in the previous modules of personality. All the ways by which you can learn or engage to learn should be welcoming. These people are not conventional, stereotypical, they are unconventional. When you are high on openness, you are unconventional. You can take any new idea which can help you out. But if you are low on openness, you are predictable, you do not want anything new, you are non-imaginative, you will dislike change. Stereotypicalness and traditionalness will be in your nature. Now let's go to a very important part, that is neuroticism. Now this is a negative transmission of energy. They may be very energetic, but the energy is transformed in an uneasy, worry, angry way. They are the personalities which holistic emotional stability is in doldrums. They are those individuals which try to perceive the external or internal world, but on their own terms and conditions. When you are highly neurotic, anxiety is bound to happen. Even if your disease is reducing, you are having good thing, why it is so happening? No positive feeling, no positive outcome, no positive result can satisfy them. They may further be more anxious, maybe tomorrow I will be successful or not. They are unable to digest, they are unable to assimilate everything in a rational and a logical, healthy, interpretative. Their perception always make them if something may not go wrong. And that anxiety turns into hostility. They are irritable. When you try to make them understand, no, things are on a very better part, they always try to take a loose end. They always try to look at the negative shade of everything. Because of anxiety and irritability, they are stressed out. Being stressed out means they cannot carry that energetic task anymore. And this makes them self-conscious, doubtful, and hence they are vulnerable, they are susceptible to any negative outcome. So those who are very good, but because of their anxiety, because of their neurosis, they are now vulnerable to any bad outcome. We should go into the history. If a person is anxious today, how was he tomorrow? If it is through his genes, if it is through his birth, if it is by the beginning he has this anxious nature, then homeopathy has a lot to offer him. These anxious people, they experience dramatic shifts in mood. That means whenever they are happy, suddenly because of their anxiousness, they may go down. When you are low on neuroticism, that is a very positive outcome. Now this is where being low on the personality feature really helps you out. If you are low in anxiety, naturally you are very calm, you won't worry much. If you don't experience stress, if you don't take stress, you are bound to be very stable personality. So in this part of 5-factor model, where we are seeing being low is good and being high is not so happening, is not so assuring, is not so promising. But being low in neuroticism makes you emotionally stable, confident, calm, resilient, and you'll rarely feel depressed. You will be promising. You will be really addictive to work. Your addictions are towards positive things. Your addiction is towards a positive teamwork. Your addiction is towards a positive goal. Your addiction is towards something where you teach others not to worry. So neuroticism is a place where being low is good. Now we are seeing we have done so many highs and lows. After going through so many aspects of personality, we come to see that there are certain features of a personality which keep on repeating. If you'll revise it, if you'll review it, you will understand that there are certain features of a personality which are consistent and stable and come across a lot of situations in a particular way. Such type of features of personality are called as traits. And these are some different 16 traits which I am narrating in front of you. For you, in today's point, it is very important to learn the name. The first is reasoning. Reasoning is a very important trait. Second is warmth. Third trait is emotional stability. Fourth trait is dominance. Fifth trait is liveliness. Now, warmth is the affection, the care you can give. Reasoning is being logical in nature, having a reason gifted attitude. Emotional stability means calmness in behavior, not worrying too much. Dominance is being a bossy like nature, unable to take command from others, always instructing others. Liveliness is jolliness. All you have studied, this is a recap but in form of a trait. Social boldness, being sociable in nature. Every trait has its own positive and negative features. Next is sensitivity. After sensitivity, there is rule consciousness. You are a law-abiding citizen or not. You abide by the rules or not. You are governed by the book of law or not. Then you are vigilant or not. Being vigilant will always help you to avoid any negative or mishappening in your life. After these traits, let's study some other. Abstractness, privateness, apprehension, openness to change, self-reliance, perfectionism, and tension. It is very important for you at this stage, you understand these traits very important. You should know these are traits which are most commonly reflected in a personality. And after going through this, you should understand you will encounter these features in any and every personality around you. Now, my dear fellow students, let's come to a very important part, correlation of homeopathy with personality. Homeopathy is related to the holistic grooming of an individual. We are not compartmentalized science where super specialization compartmentalizes a person into different frameworks. We are not doing dissection of a human being into different areas of specialization. We are dissecting, yes, but we are dissecting what is the nature of the person. We are dissecting a personality into so many different components, into so many different traits you have studied. In homeopathy, dissection is of a nature of a person, not of the body parts. The therapeutic science of homeopathy relies chiefly on the symptoms. But what symptoms? Those symptoms which are reflected from the spiritual realms of a person, his psychical domain, his emotional plane, his physical plane. Every minute detail of the behavior is important in homeopathy. What he craves, what he is aversion of, what he dislikes, what weather he likes, what are his sleep patterns, what is his sleep positions, what is his thirst, what are his addictions. All these things, when take up a holistic picture, they are very important for treating and understanding the patients. Now, if we go through a very important chapter of Dr. Parimal Banerjee, I am quoting, repeating, stating what Dr. Parimal Banerjee has to say about chronic P. Banerjee. Now, in this important chapter of a book of Dr. P. Banerjee, I am quoting, I am stating, I am narrating word by word what Dr. P. Banerjee has said. All the systems of medicine, including conventional science, speak of diagnosis of disease. But in homeopathy, it is the diagnosis of the patient. So here the two sciences are different. That is necessary because homeopathy has to treat a patient, not the end products of a disease. The external manifestations are the end products of the disease in a patient. The homeopath has to understand correctly the internal essence of the patient, that is to say, personality of the patient. So now the stalwarts, the great stalwarts of homeopathy have utilized the essence of personality in their prescription. For a homeopath, the external manifestation of disease, that is to say, the disease symptoms, apart from the personality of the patient, have no meaning. As such, a mere diagnosis of a disease, a mere cataloging of a disease symptom, as it were, is of no use to him. It is the patient, therefore, he must examine, study up, and understand. If he is to do successfully, he must have a thorough knowledge of all the antipsoric, antipsychotic, and antisyphilitic drugs of the Materia Medica. So, this I have a quote from Dr. P. Banerjee's book, and this clearly signifies the importance of the sick person, the personality of the person, the man in disease, not the disease in a man. It is the human being we have to assess who is suffering, not the terminal reflections of a disease in a suffering human being. Disease diagnosis is not a pillar of homeopathy, it is for prognosis. Disease diagnosis may be important, but in what ways? It has a prognostic value. You should not completely ignore disease diagnosis as a homeopath. It definitely has a very importance in a prognostic value. But therapeutically, homeopathy has diagnosis of patient based on fundamental cardinal principles of homeopathy. And how the diagnosis of the patient is achieved? By assessing the personality profile. The personality forms the totality of symptoms. The totality of the symptoms is matched with the simillimum, and simillimum which is selected for the patient annihilates, destroys or removes the maladies of an individual. This is how personality works. Now, apart from P. Banerjee, what other stalwarts have said about personality? Dr. Clemens Maria von Bonigersen has said about personality, you can see. It is the individuality of a case where he has stated this in his lesser writings. The name of the chapter is there for you. Dr. C. M. Boger, in his Study of Philosophy, changes of personality and temperament are particularly to be noted. Here I would like to say he has really recaptioned Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. Samuel Hahnemann is organ and has very same thing. In introduction, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann says individuality of a human being is best manifest through his personality reactions. So our father of homeopathy was also bestowed with personality. Dr. Kent, the modern stalwart, says the artistic prescriber sees much improving, and we should also assess the personality profile of the sick. Now finally, coming to the most important part, after dealing all through the exhaustive analysis, we come and we see, is there any role of research in personality? Yes, my dear friends, the role of personality in mental and physical health of World Trade Center responders. This was a research article published, and it stated about a good positive outcome was possible in healthy personalities. The negative shades of personality had a poor outcome. Personality intervention and psychological treatment, untangling and explaining the new horizons and perspectives. This was published in this journal and is Behavioral Sciences, and reflected how personality is important. And the last is very important for you to understand, the role of personality in cardiovascular diseases. It should be focused in what type of personality a cardiovascular disease is happening. It was published in Indian Heart Journal. So now conventional science is also working on the principles of personality, which are deeply rooted in the science of homeopathy. So we can say our stalwarts have done a lot of work on personality. Whatever we have studied in this elective module is nothing but a little part of reflection of homeopathic literature. And whatever you have studied in this elective module of personality will throughout be reflected in your entire journey of BHMS. In this journey of undergraduation, post-graduation or any higher super specialization, one place or the other, personality will come. You will have to assess it, and whatever knowledge you have achieved is just a beginning. It is just a first step towards your successful journey in homeopathy. So finally, before I pen off, I would like to say personality is a constructive sphere of a human being. Constructive means what a human being is made of, and based on his personality, his health is reflected. After an exhaustive analysis of personality and its homeopathic correlation, we can say how personality is related with health and disease, and assessment of personality will be and always be an integral part of homeopathic treatment. Assessment of personality will be and always be an integral part of homeopathic treatment. Thank you. My dear students, revision is a very important thing of learning. It is only through revision that we can re-energize the roots of learning. The roots of learning needs to be hydrated or watered with revision. So, I cannot go ahead without a bit of revision. So, let's start revision of different types of personality and traits and their homeopathic correlation. So, you must be knowing now we will be studying the definition of personality as per Aspendorf. And you very well know that personality is a collection of traits that determine how each individual understands their experiences and behaves. Now, when the word traits have come here, you know there will be 15 to 16 traits you will be studying. Some names of those traits should come to your mind, should be glanced like a lightning in your mind. If it is not happening, don't worry, we will be studying them again. But remember always, it's a fascinating science. Personality assessment is a fascinating part, and I am happy that you all are studying it. Now, the attributes of personality. You very well know the attributes of personality are nothing but the functioning, the working of a personality. And the working of personality has three main parts. Personality is organized and consistent. Means there is not an erratic behavior in a normal person. In a normal personality, it is not a haphazard, eccentric or erratic expression of emotions. The expression of emotions, the expression of behavior is organized and consistent. What do you mean by consistent? The expression of behavior is same throughout or across a situation. The emotion may change in some situations, but will of personality remains same across the situations. And these are two very important differences, my students. You should learn today only what remains same across the situation, whether you are communicating with your father, mother, friends. That are the expressions of will of a personality, the symptoms of will of a personality. They usually remains unchanged across the range of situations. But emotions, they vary across a range of situations. And in homeopathy, the symptoms of will are important like symptoms of emotions. So now you have understood the difference between will and emotions in a personality. Let's move ahead. In personality is usually stable. It is not changed overnight. It is not changed in a flick of a second. Over few hours, the personality doesn't changes. In rare circumstances, in a few seconds, in few hours, or after a deep-seated strike of a negative emotion, personality may change. But in majority of the cases, personality is stable and is only influenced by two factors. One is genetics, the another was is external influences. Next, personality is the factor which is responsible how we are behaving. How I behave is my personality. How you all are behaving in your environment is your personality. There are four types of personality. You should simultaneously revise the names: the director, the socializer, the thinker, the supporter. Don't forget these names. These are the traits of personality. These are the features of personality: aggressive, taking control, commercially oriented, type A personalities. Further feature of type A personalities: motivated for success, multitasking is very important. Multitasking means carrying on several different works at a time. Very less people are capable of governing multiple tasks at a time. But this comes in highly energetic persons. Short-tempered, naturally overworking makes them short-tempered and ardent and bohemian. Ardent means going after a particular topic like a crazy, not stopping until and unless I complete it. that is ardent. Ardent means a person who is highly passionate about his work. He focuses only on his work. If you try to distract an ardent person, you are a failure. And if you are able to distract a person easily, he is not ardent. So some names must be coming to your mind who don't get distracted easily. Such people are ardent people. Bohemian, living on their own way, living on their own rules, taking decision, bold steps, Bohemian. Type B people, exciting people, fun loving people. Their charisma, their nature, their behavior, their personality attracts people towards them. They are the lifeline of a social circle. They make a party live through their behavior and communication. Idealistic persons, getting distracted easily, but spirits never go down. High spirited, spontaneous, impulsive. Because of so much happening around, they become postponer. So now you are seeing every personality is not graced. Every personality is a bed of roses with lots and lots of thorns in it. You have to accept a personality with its positive and negative sides. You have to understand there is good, there is bad. There is day, there is night. There is an angel and there is a demon. Okay? So every personality has its own features. Type C, precision loving, detail oriented, trustworthy, but they become cynical also. They are rebellious, unsociable, uncertain, not sure of success. Type D, low key, observant, caring, consistent, dependable, calm and stable, approachable, resistant to change, and confident. Now comes the most important part of your personality, the 5-factor model, with all the hypers and hypos you will be seeing in this presentation. The hypers and the hypo are very important because this is how the 5 points are reflected in an individual. The higher of conscientiousness, the lower of conscientiousness. And now you can say that neurotism personality in its high is not good. Neurotism personality in its low is a good feature. So let's recap. The highs of conscientiousness being a competent personality, organized and dutiful personality, disciplined and deliberated personality. Lows of conscientiousness, disorganized, chaotic, careless, procrastinate. Again I am telling you, procrastinate are postponers. And my dear students, when you will go into higher classes, when you will study Mathematica deeply, you will be learning a very important nosode who procrastinate. The keynote symptom of that nosode is procrastination. In repertory, you will see this rubric, procrastination. You can understand the word incompetent, who is not competent in nature, who is not qualified enough, disorganized, who does not work properly in a regular order harmoniously. But procrastinate is a postponer. Indisciplined, who lacks discipline in his life, who cannot work in a proper disciplined fashion. Impulsive, agreeableness, how to carry on in relationships. High is trustworthy, straightforwardness, loves to help around, altruism. Altruism is a feature where you love to help around, modesty, sympathy and empathetic in nature. And the opposite, unsympathetic, is low on agreeableness, demanding, insulting and belittling behaviors out of their own sheer inferiority complex. A pseudo haughtiness is accepted by them, is overtaken by them. And they insult people, they are skeptical people, stubborn. Extraversion, exhibitionists, those who love to show off. When they are high, they are sociable, they are very good in interaction, they are excitement seeking, outgoing, they love to display their energy, they love to display their emotions. When they are low, they become gloomy, melancholic, love solitude, reflective, dislike being a center of attraction. But that doesn't make them dull, that doesn't make them dumb. If you are low, if you prefer solitude, that is not completely bad. Maybe in your solitude, maybe in your reserved nature, you may be working very hard. Remember the principle of duck, batak. The principle of duck is, superficially, it appears that duck is very calm. But deep down inside, she is paddling very hard. So the volcano of success may come also from those persons who are low on extraversion, because they are the underdogs and you won't rate them. Openness, directness, sincerity, these are all the synonyms. Now you should be a master of personality. You have understood personality in so detail, my dear students, that you should be able to recognize the features on the persons around you. Low on openness are predictable, dislike change, routine, stereotypical persons are low on openness. If you are high on openness, you become curious. And remember our master Hahnemann, he was imaginative. How can you say our master Hahnemann was creative? Take a thought of 3 seconds. Give the best example of creativity of master Hahnemann. You have the answer in your mind, my dear students. You know the answer. Think about it. In next 10 seconds, I am coming out with the answer about the heightened creativity of the master. Have you got the answer? I hope you have got that answer. The answer is our Bible, our Gita, our Quran of homeopathy, our Guru Granth Sahib of homeopathy, the organ of medicine. We can't do anything without organ of medicine in our life. Edition 1, edition 2. Again, he said he bought third edition. He continuously augmented and created the 6th edition, which came posthumously. But how creative our master was, how evolutionary our master was, how open he was to new things. This is what we study when we study all the 6 editions of Organon. Neuroticism, you very well know, highs are bad, lows are good. Trait, the same pattern, the peculiarities which are repeated in multiple times in some behaviors. The 16 traits. Now let's take a quick recap, my dear students. Liveliness, happy-go-lucky, dominance, dictatorial persons, emotional stability, calm, peace-loving persons, warmth, affectionate, reasoning, persons who believe on logic, work on inductive logic, rule conscious, those who are law-abiding, those who want to follow the daily routine, those who are disciplined, vigilant, persons who are very much knowledgeable about their surroundings. Vigilance means being aware of what is happening around them. Socially boldness, highly sociable, sincerity, sensitivity, abstractness, privateness, apprehension, open to change, self-reliance, perfectionism and tension oriented. So correlation of homeopathy with personality is very important, and you all know homeopathy is a science of holism, where every individual part is looked, is examined, is approached collectively. We don't believe in fragmenting the body parts, we believe in the collective approach. For us, the cause of disease is not materialistic, the fundamental cause of disease is dynamic. For us, a disease is chronic from the beginning. For us, the disease is not chronic because of time. If a disease is chronic, it is chronic from the beginning because it is related with the fundamental causes of disease, the miasms. Okay, so the correlation of homeopathy with personality is very important because every disease has a person with a typical personality features, typical traits, typical emotions, typical high on conscientiousness, typical low on neuroticism. All these assessments are necessary. That is why we say we are a holistic science, not a compartmental science. The therapeutic science of homeopathy relies on the symptoms. And what symptoms? Again, it should come to your mind: the psychical, emotional, spiritual and physical. You should remember these golden words by heart of Dr. P. Banerjee, where he clearly signifies the assessment of the individual as a whole and not as a person. The teachings of Dr. P. Banerjee and Hahnemann and other stalwarts always help us in the assessment of personality, and along with personality, the totality of symptoms is framed. The totality of symptoms based on the fundamental principles of homeopathy and guiding indications of my master Dr. Samuel Hahnemann helps us to assess the totality of symptoms. As per Hahnemannian totality of symptoms, simillimum is selected. And please remember, my dear students, simillimum selected on the principles of Hahnemann is the only key to annihilate any and every chronic disease. These are the authors, the stalwarts, Dr. Bonningerson, Dr. C.M. Boger, Dr. Hannemann, Dr. Kent, how they have spoken about personality. So, our stalwarts were also remarkably bestowed by the role of personality in health, role of personality in disease, and role of personality in establishing the patient on the path of recovery or cure. My dear students, this is the very important slide where you come to know that personality plays an important role in genesis of disease. Research paper says cardiology in diseases of heart, a particular type of personality is affected. So this gives you a lot of homework for your future, that you should go and work on what other types of personalities, how they are affected with disease. You have a lot of homework at your disposal. My best wishes are with you. Homeopathy and personality go hand in hand. Thank you very much.